You have to distribute some, thank you. We're going to start today with public input. It's not on the agenda, but we do start with public input, and we're going to right now. I have Mr. McEwen in front of me. Gary?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to take this opportunity first to thank the school committee and Ms. Miller to give us this opportunity as far as the broadcasting class to videotape school committee meetings. It's been a real learning, hands-on project for the students. Mark has benefited this a lot, and he works for the Templeton Cable Commission. So it's been a thrill. And I also want to thank our sponsors, and we'll do that usually at the end of the school committee meeting, but Lyman Signs donated the products as far as the symbol, for the school committee meeting, our backdrop as far as that, so we can be exposed as far as when we do videotape anything. But I just want to thank the school committee for allowing us to do that. We'll continue as long as people want us to do that, because it's the best learning experience, hands-on, that we could do. I'm taking this opportunity as far as a former resident, a new Phillips and Cable Advisory Committee member. I am the clerk of the first ever. And there's an important date, public service announcements, that I want to take advantage of with the press and with the school committee, because Phillips is going through a renewal process for renewing their license. It expires in November. And we have the opportunity to negotiate with the provider with the educational part of PEG access. PEG access is public education government access. And franchise fees and upfront money from Comcast for the subscribers provides available funds to purchase equipment. And we definitely want to take advantage of this during the renewal process. We hope Templeton does the same thing during their renewal process that comes up in 5 years. But there's an important meeting, part of the process is going to take place for all residents of Phillipston and subscribers of Comcast to attend this public hearing on June 25th at 7 o'clock at the Phillips Memorial School. What we're trying to do is improve the communication. If there's one thing that can bring the two communities together, Templeton and Phillipston, is communication. And if we can improve the public access, especially the education part of public access, you bring the two towns together. And we'll be doing district-wide events, school news, student body programs, class activities, sports, club activities, award assemblies, graduation, fine arts, and any significant school-wide activity, including as far as the elementary building project, that's going to continue and become successful, school committee meetings, budget subcommittee meetings. And if we can get that in that public hearing, we can educate the people as far as what we could be providing. This all can become reality. Ms. Miller and I had this desire to create a robotic studio here, along with a teaching studio, to improve the broadcasting. Hopefully, we can put robotic cameras in the auditorium so that all school activities, plays, concerts, and even the town of Templeton can take advantage of that with their town meetings. So I'm just using this as a public service announcement for residents of Phillipston to please come to that public hearing on June 25th, 7 o'clock at the Phillipston School, and there's some brochures there that will help you with the information. So I thank you again, and I have to go get back to work.
Would you have a minute if there are questions? Does anyone here have questions?
I think we're just scratching the surface. There's so much potential here that we really do have to get more involved and see what it leads to do.
Absolutely. The more we can expose what's going on in the school and what the kids are doing, the more people and residents will support education. Unfortunately, minority of people usually in towns and in the town hall and the town meeting type of setup. It's the most argumentative form of government that we have, but it's what we want. But the more the people see what the kids do, what the teachers are doing, what the administrative school committee's doing, then the people will have a positive feeling about supporting education in the community. And again, nothing will bring the community together like improved communication. Public access, especially education part of public access, is, in my opinion, the best way to do this. So, thanks. And school committee members, Phillipson, definitely grab a brochure and get the word out. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary.
NDA, do you have some input for us?
I just wanted to introduce you to our new vice president, is Paqrt. So she'll be attending school committee meetings from this point on. And just make a comment in regards to tonight's topic. Just reaffirm my comments I made several weeks ago, that the hard work that the budget subcommittee put in to create a budget that meets the needs that the school needs, from paras and teachers to nurses and support staff, that they would continue to put that budget forward that they set out.
Thank you, sir. And welcome, Mrs. Paqrt. To this. So the business of the day is the FY14 budget. The process set before us is that this budget comes back to us to be reviewed and to be recertified. So in an effort to do so, you have in front of you the FY14. It's a 30-page document. We're not going to be here till 9. But I thought if we went page by page, if anyone had questions on the page is in front of you.
May the press have a copy, please?
Yes, this is public information. It's been part of our presentation for the whole subcommittee process. So what we would do is look at page 1. If there is a question from the committee on page 1 as to why it is what it is, we have 2 members here that were on the budget subcommittee. All of us were reported back to, and hopefully we can, from within, we have Ms. Miller who can hopefully give us some information as to why it is what it is, and then discussion as to should it stay either up or down. So page 1 is this. I know it's going to be hard for the audience. We don't have extras of these. Here we're talking
2 extra copies.
2 extra copies if anybody would like them. They are here for sharing. So are there questions on page 1?
Want to share with someone?
Okay. Page 2. Hard to hold on to. Anybody have questions on 2? What we're looking at is the percentage of change. We're also looking at the current amount, the projected amount. This is page 3 of a 30-page document that is the FY14 superintendent's budget. Page 3. Page 4. Yes.
Why did we jump elementary principal for Templeton Center increased by 30.5%?
Okay, Mr. Tui's question is the elementary principal, Templeton Center, full-time salary in, sorry,
It was despite with this salary.
that is, okay, it is the TC full-time
That
salary.
is correct, Ken. That's a stipend position. It was stipend, and we went away with nurse leaders, or not nurse leaders, sorry, lead teachers. And so we put a stipend position for a teacher to keep their full-time job and then also take the responsibilities of assistant principal for this year. And so that, what you see there, that $8,000 was the stipend that she got over and beyond doing her regular job to fill that role. It was offset ultimately by reducing 3 lead teachers in Templeton, TC, and Florida.
Mr. Tui, further questions?
I think this is the right time to talk about it, it's not, I apologize. In a school that's as small as Templeton Center, is it needed to have an administrator in that regard? We could just have administrative assistants in there, teachers.
You can't just have administrative assistant, but because you need someone responsible. Well, lead head teachers cost $4,000. So if you have a head teacher in the buildings without a principal, then you'd be paying $12,000. This past year, we didn't have any principals at the time. We developed this model because we weren't sure what was going to happen. So this teacher took on more responsibilities, and we wanted more coverage at the buildings because of the substantial needs in the TC enrollment building. And it hadn't been successful with the split in years prior.
Okay, and of course, you had to follow the accounting process, so it looks like full-time salary where it is a stipend. Thank you, Mr. Mason. But that's the way it printed out. Further questions on that? Page 5. Any questions on that? I guess.
Question. Why is the TC secretary down?
Okay,
Is that because of the filling that we had? Is that just for this year or is it?
I'm going to repeat your question, Mrs. Mattson. And the question is, in our budget, we have the Templeton Center secretary is at a minus 5.4% for the projected increase. I'm going to ask Mrs. Miller about that. Mrs. Miller.
Well, we try to explain this without talking about, and it's really hard to talk about individuals, we're not really supposed to, but because of some of the fluctuation that's gone on in the NTC with regard to that position, we were paying more, and we're back to where it was in years prior to this.
Yes, I have a question. Do we have somebody else first? On the middle school secretary, that is actually 2 secretaries?
Yes, it is 2 secretaries.
So that amount reflects 2 secretaries, both full-time?
No, 1 half-time, 1 full-time.
And the percentage of increase is due to?
Anticipated step raises according to their contract.
Other questions on 5?
Is that the same
Excuse
thing?
me, Mr. Tui?
I'm sorry. Is that the same thing with the high school secretary as well?
That's 2 people as well. School secretary, that should be 2 people.
Was that your question?
Yes.
Is that your-
The high school has 2 full-time secretaries. The guidance office has a full-time and then a, not year-round, but full-time secretary, like a 35-hour-a-week secretary. So when you see these lines, they'll be lumped together. The middle school has 1.5, and then the elementary schools each have 1.
All set? Page 6. I guess I have one. In this budget, what is the status of accreditation for this?
The high school line, that you see there, the dues line has a $3,000 dues for NEAS. It's in the budget at this time. I'm going to be sharing next week with you some information that I received from the Superintendent's Association around that issue to kind of let you see the direction that other districts are going with regard to this. I don't think we need to make any decisions at this time, but things are starting to unfold that I think that you need to be made aware of, but we'll do that at the next meeting. But that $3,000 is still in the budget to support that. We just took out the money to have them come out and do the self-study.
I'm sorry, I'm on page 6.
Yep.
$3,000 you're referring to is?
In the high school dues where it says it's $5,800, you see the superintendent's projected 70, and that has a 673% increase. Do you see what is that
Oh,
what
I do
you're
now.
referring to?
Yes, but.
That's where the accreditation money is. And it didn't get budgeted there in the past. It was in a separate accreditation line, which is really,
Oh, I see,
really
you've taken it out of that line and
put it in this line, which is really, it's an annual fee versus the accreditation process where they would come out and do a site visit is where you put that other monies that you would be allocating for that purpose.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Page 7. Questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Are the middle and high schools doing advisories?
There, we have the extracurricular, the advisory lines they took out was the stipends for the NEAS.
On page 7.
Right, so that would be the extracurricular advisory, all those, National Honor Society, those kind of, I think come out of this line here at the high school. I think the rest of that says advisory / extracurricular.
Okay. And everybody's clear on the explanation on the special education budget? Special needs policy. There's no questions on that, we have that. Page 8. Yes, Mr. Tully.
Just maybe I'm just reading wrong, but what's extension school year? Or is that-
Yeah, I think that's the summer program, because we have a summer special needs program. I'm not sure if this is,
Just go from 13,
Right.
4% to 48.5.
actually, I think that's a summer program, but I'm not completely sure.
Yes, it is.
It is the summer program, right? Thank you, Ann. So it's a summer special needs program that we have to implement based on the IEPs for kids.
And that's not grant funded, this is the portion the district is paying.
Yes. And we did have quite a few new students with special needs move into the district this year.
I noticed do we have questions? I always have questions. On the sub-accounts, you have some negative amounts pretty strongly, a third and almost a half, in both high school and middle school. How did that come about?
We're just gonna try to, we're gonna try to project and have fewer people out. We had less maternity leaves coming up this next year, we thought we did. There seems to be a little bit of a growing number there. Not a lot, but they're gonna be fewer than we had this year, so the reason that those are down. Plus, we had a couple medical, people out on medical for a long period of time, and so that will increase our sub-budget because we have to pay certified teachers to fill those spots.
But you are trying to reduce that account significantly.
Yeah, we are. We definitely are.
Good luck with that. That's always a variable.
It's hard.
Any questions on 8? We'll move to 9.
No questions.
Mr. Tui?
Media secretary, just trying to figure out what that even is.
Media center, oh, that would be the library.
Oh, so it's not.
That's the media center, yeah, that's the media center, that's the individual that's been working there for years. And if you look at the kindergarten aides, that's up substantially because we have to add that for the kindergarten.
So in this budget, we will have a teacher and an aide in kindergarten.
Correct.
Page 10. Questions?
What are the textbooks that VES is getting?
And it's on page 11.
No, 10.
So we're back on 10. I believe that they will be to support the readers in the writers' workshop. It might be to also replace some books. It's not very much, $2,700, does not buy you very many books.
So that's why I was wondering. Did you get a deal or what? I was wondering.
Thank goodness for those Paqrt.
The question on the professional development mentors, that had an increase. Are you expanding that program? So you
No, it's prescriptive. It's so many dollars per mentor, and each brand new teacher needs a mentor, and the second year needs a mentor. So it's based on our anticipated, we're replacing the retired teachers plus adding a couple math teachers. So it's really it's a formula that we have to use.
And this isn't a question, but I have a concern because you have 0 in professional development curriculum writing. So does that mean there will be no further curriculum updates or?
No, we've shifted that money into the Race to the Top. This next year will be our last Race to the Top year. And we put in money in that grant for stipends for teachers to work outside of the school day to help get this curriculum done.
Great. Thank you. Page 11. Questions on 11, 12?
Should be a lot of questions on this page. It's all zeros.
So what happens here is that people are working with what they have and what they update. Through
Correct.
public sources, that the library supplies and audiovisual are not budgeted for.
Correct, and they haven't been for the last couple of years. We've really been not funding. And we put these textbooks in, and then a lot of times they don't even get to be spent.
But-
I'm sorry.
Yes, Mr. Tui.
My only question was, foreign language went up 190%.
Well, to $2,000, and it's, you have more kids in the class and you want to supply a textbook for those students, then we have to, it's not buying a set of books, it's really buying more books to, supplement what we have for increased enrollment in foreign language. Don't forget we anticipate, we had a pilot program with the middle school 8th grade foreign language this year, and we're anticipating being able to provide foreign language to all 8th graders, Spanish to all 8th graders next year, which I'm sure that I'm not sure this book money will actually fill that need, but that's another area where we expanded, and I'm sure that we need more books.
Does each child have a book in the district if they're in a course that needs one?
No. There was, because if we can't supply a book for every child, then we would be in violation of the contract, so what we need to do is not supply books at all. Right, so we've had a lot of new courses come in, and we have not been able to, over the last couple of years, buy books to support the new courses. I know social studies at the high school level has a lot of, the law courses and other things that the teachers had to actually go out and, find and create the resources to teach the class. We've not been able to buy books at all.
Right, but when you find and recreate, the audiovisual supply is not funded in any of our buildings. So with audiovisual down, that we must have leases on our photocopy machines and things like this that are still maintained through the
Correct.
budget.
Yes,
Because if they find it, they still have to produce it and work with it. So.
right.
But to talk about textbooks is a big amount of money, that's true. We're on page 13. Are we ready to move to 14? Again, these are supplies and these numbers are certainly not large for any of the supplies.
No. I mean, that's really all the elementary schools have to work with, pretty much.
Questions? 15? Social studies in the middle school supplies was budgeted 500, projected 500, and then it's down to 0. So the percentage change is minus 100. Is that department able to function? I mean, 500 wasn't much to start with, but without any funding on that?
So
I'm looking at the social studies account for supplies.
are you looking at Miller's, or Phillipston Memorial School?
Oh, that is Phillipston.
Yeah, it's Phillipston, and they probably decided to put their supply money in another, take the 500 and add it to another line to actually be able to get something. But then, don't forget, they really came in with level funded budgets, so they tried to take the small pool they had and do what they could with it.
Questions on that? There's a lot of negative numbers in these lines as for percentage change. Page 16.
Question?
Yes.
Why are the high school art supplies incredibly higher than any of the other? I mean, I understand the high school is larger. High school or the middle school art supplies is almost $10,000.
A lot of that has to do with the clay and the programs and the art that they actually do up here. With the clay, with the kiln, that's very expensive. They also do a lot of work with glass, mosaics. So the different types of art classes that they are able to offer for kids that now actually can develop a portfolio and go to art school outside of here. So being able to have that variety is more expensive. The supplies are just more expensive.
Thank you. That question was on the high school art supplies being proportionately higher than the other areas, and that was the answer to that question. Are there any other questions? Is the high school robotics a new program?
It was this past year, and so they were able to offer, I think, 1 or 2 courses for the high school students to continue on their learning. It's a VEX, it's a different system, so I think they have the supplies they need for the most part to continue. They also go into competition, the middle and high school students were competing in robotics as well. And so in the last couple of years, we've funded that program to get it off the ground, and I think they're trying to maintain with just getting a few more things, because as the kids get more versed at it, obviously they need more parts and things.
And again, this amount for robotics is minimum $3,500 for a robotics program. Yes, and this year we're moving it by that 3,500, so they're putting 6,000 into that program, which started at 3. And it is a high school program. Any questions on that? Okay, page 17.
These counseling lines, when this was out in the public, they misunderstood that it's not 1 counselor. Middle school has 2 counselors, high school has 3 counselors, well, 2 counselors and an adjustment counselor. And the proposed budget for the elementary school would be 2 counselors.
And currently, the elementary school has
1 counselor for 3 buildings.
1 counselor for 3, so the 2 would share the 3 buildings.
Correct.
Thank you. I guess my question's on the guidance secretarial, what's the number on that staff and the increase?
There was some shifting around, and we're looking at, making some shifts that once again this summer to put back the secretary at the high school guidance office, because there was a lot of, work around scholarships, transcripts for kids going to college, getting that was problematic for that to happen. So there's going to be some